employee negotiations.
So moved.
Second.
Peter moved, Eileen second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, everybody, aye. No opposed. Okay. So we'll do executive now.
Okay, we're gonna get called now, right?
Yes, we're gonna get a phone call. Want to close my door. Hold on one second, please. Okay, Michael, almost 7 o'clock. Let's unmute everybody. Anybody there? 7 o'clock. Come on, guys. Okay. I'm missing somebody. Okay, everybody's unmuted. Eileen, you muted. And so are you, Joanne.
Are we all back?
Yes, we're back, but Eileen is muted.
All right, we got it.
Better.
Oh, there she is. She's unmuted. Okay, everybody else unmuted. Yeah, I don't have Jen.
Only one of you now.
Okay. We can open the meeting at 7 o'clock. It's 7 o'clock. I will open a regular section. Joanne, could you please do the roll call?
Sure, Mrs. Santos, yes. Okay, so Mrs. Santos is present. Mrs. Hers?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Caden?
Yep.
Mr. Sales?
Yeah.
Mr. Wunsch?
Yes.
And Mrs. Zampano, you're via telephone?
They're on mute.
She was going to be on by phone.
The admin is on mute, so maybe they.
Okay.
Okay.
And I'm just confirming Mrs. Zampano is participating via telephone?
Yes.
Okay.
So that means 6. Okay. All right. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Pledge
allegiance
allegiance to the flag
Of
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God,
God
indivisible,
with
liberty
liberty
and
and
for all. Thank you, everybody. Any visitors? Do you know of any visitors? Anybody? Do you know of any visitors, Joanne?
They are watching via live stream?
Via live stream. Okay. And like a motion to accept the approval of the minutes for November 10th
So moved.
and November 1st. I'm sorry. Okay. It's been moved. Any questions? No question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Motion carries 6-0. We need to take that program presentation as of the independent auditor report and the financial statement to the board. Yes.
Warren, are you with us? Warren Taylor?
Yes, I am.
Would you mind introducing Heather, please?
Sure. As you know, we have a requirement to have a set of audited financial statements each year. The board's appointed Bonadeo and Company as the official auditor to prepare the financial statements. And the principal, the partner on this job is Heather Briggs, who has been working with us for several years. And she's with us tonight to speak briefly about the financial statements and what they reveal.
Thank you.
Thank you, Warren. I'll just share my screen here with you. All right. Can everybody see that?
yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So this has become quite the norm, giving these Zoom presentations. It's kind of interesting. But I want to thank Warren and Christina for getting us through the COVID audit. They've been very, very unique in the sense that parts of it are very remote audit. And I appreciate all their help in getting it done this year. We hope that we go back to a little bit of normal next year and we can be on site more and interact with everybody more. But we're through it. And the first order of business is the required communications letter. Professional standards require at the end of the audit that I discuss certain things with you In summary, just to go over this in summary, you will get it in final form when we go final. We implemented, or the BOCES implemented GASB 95 this year. That was probably the only GASB that any of us have ever jumped for joy about. It delayed the implementation of various laundry list of GASBs, including GASB 84, that would have significantly affected the BOCES this year. That's been delayed a year, so it will not be effective until 2021. It also delayed the least standard GASB, GASB 87, for 18 months. So we've got some time on that one as well. It speaks to some significant estimates and where they are within your financial statement, and where you can see them. You know, it's basically the long-term debt, the pension footnote, the OPEB footnote. Those are the basic ones that are very significant to every government financial statement. We didn't encounter any difficulties in performing our audit procedures. There were a couple of adjustments on the financial statements this year that were significant, and we'll talk a little bit more about them in a little bit. But New York State very nicely withheld 20% of aid funding in certain areas this year for all districts, and it required a little bit of adjustment on the balance sheets and income statements of all districts. So those were two adjustments that we had this year. We had no disagreements with management and got to perform our audit without any issues, and we'll get a representation letter at the completion of this noting all the information that they gave us. Going ahead to the executive summary, it's a brief summary of what I'm going to cover with you. The basic financial statements, the 80 some odd pages, 70 some odd pages that you got to review. And I hope nobody had any insomnia issues after they read that. The independent auditor's opinion was unmodified. That's the highest opinion you can receive. And really what that says is that your financial statements were fairly presented. And, you know, basically that's good. There were no internal controls over financial material weaknesses or significant deficiencies to be reported in your yellow book report. That's the report at the back of your audit. Material weaknesses are pervasive. Your internal controls break down and you wouldn't find something. Significant deficiencies would be those things that were, you know, a little less pervasive. However, we would want you to know about them. You had neither of those. Certain things can, you know, come in a management letter if they're, you know, material enough to be noted, but not a material weakness and not a significant deficiency. We did not have a management letter this year. We did talk to management about some small items here or there, but nothing material that we would need to formally report in a management letter. So some significant events that we can talk about in 2020. One of the biggest ones would be if you looked at page, the easiest way to see this would be page 3 of the financial statements. You had a $23,000 decrease in net position on your government-wide financial statements, and that's a very large number. And you'll note here that it was really caused by the increase in your OPEB, your other post-employment benefits, those health insurance benefits paid to your retirees. And that number is driven by an actuarial report. And you get that done annually or biannually. It's based on a lot of assumptions made and a lot of big calculations made by actuaries. And if I look at page 53, it kind of gives you a very, or excuse me, 54. It gives you a really good idea of what the relationship is with certain things on this liability. Page 54 is what we call required supplementary information. And it shows from the inception of GASB 75 in 2018, when they did the initial valuation of 75, they started at a 4% discount rate. Roll forward to 2020, you're at a 2.4% discount rate. There's an inverse relationship between the discount rate and your liability. So as that discount rate goes down, your liability goes up. So you're seeing a significant increase in your liability as the discount rate that is used has dropped. The economy has been fairly decent in recent years. So we don't know what, not being an actuary, not being that type of individual, we don't know what the discount rate's going to be next year. But as that discount rate changes, so goes your liability. In talking with management, they have also said to us, we've been in, collective bargaining agreement conversations with everyone, and certain instances change along the way, and certain variables within health insurance will change. As certain individuals trend out of your valuation and younger individuals trend into your valuation, and those assumptions change, your liability will change over time. But unfortunately, that significant liability is going to drive that negative net position. And so when you look at it, you see this very, very large number, you have a very good idea of where it comes from. And that number is not allowed to be reserved against. This is something that I believe everybody has been wanting for years, but nothing that's come to fruition. So the negative net position in your government-wide financial statements, that's your full accrual financial statements, will increase over time as that OPEB number does increase. And there are other factors in there, such as the pension liability that's driven by ERS and that valuation, and TRS and that specific valuation, but the largest part is definitely your OPEB. Some other significant items this year would be the 20% excess cost aid withholding from state education. You'll notice in your financial statements that your special aid fund has a negative fund balance that is directly driven to the 20% that was withheld from your EPI aid. There was $500,000 that was not received in the amount recorded as a receivable at year end. We have not heard anything yet as to whether that money is going to be repaid. However, it's still on your books as a receivable. It's just now what's called a deferred inflow of resources, and will hopefully be recouped in the upcoming year. There was also a 20% withholding on the excess cost aid that is directly related to the monies you pay out to your component districts as well. The single audit, the student financial aid cluster was the major program again. You did qualify as a low risk auditee. Again, no material weaknesses were identified. There were no significant deficiencies. There were no issues with compliance this year. In the prior year, you had a finding based on the Graham-Leach-Bliley Act. That finding has been closed and is no longer active. So the single audit was in good shape this year. And your extra classroom audit was also an unmodified opinion with no significant issues there. So I'll open it up to questions if you have any.
I have three.
Go ahead, Peter.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not sure. Okay. Actually, I have three comments, no real questions.
Okay.
The first is, I'm assuming that that's a pre-set up backdrop and you're not really at Whiteface Mountain.
No.
Sorry.
I was there one time, but I figured I'd do something fun for my backdrop.
And number two is somebody who's a lot older than you. I remember when FASB 4 came in and we thought there were a lot of numbers on how many of those. But the real comment I have to make, and it's just for Joanne to put in the record, that we as a board are aware that we have a workers' comp reserve. The issue comes about, it's not specifically stated in the state regs that BOCES are allowed a workers' comp reserve. So we make the statement each year that we are aware it's there. That's all.
Peter, that was good. Anybody else? Anyone else wish to make anything? Okay, thank you very much.
Am I alluded? Jeanette?
Yes,
Heather, can I ask a question, please?
Yes, sir.
can you explain what the discount rate means? Because that greatly influences our position, our net position. Can you just briefly explain, what does that mean, the discount rate that goes from 4% and it's dropped down to 2.3, 2.5?
2.3.
Yeah, basically what they're doing in easiest terms, they use a discount rate, and you'll see right here on page 45, it's based on an average of the 20-year bond indices. And that's, I believe that's something put forth in the GASB. You're taking this future liability, this thing that's going to happen many, many years down the road, and you're discounting it at a rate of 2.4% to create it as a liability today. So it's taking this number, this overly inflated number of healthcare cost with all these assumptions, which I'm not 100% sure, because I'm not an actuary, of how it's calculated. And they're discounting it back. They're taking that 2% through a present value formula. Y'all remember present value calculators back in the days when we were all in our math classes and we plugged them in there. I don't think I could actually do the formula on a piece of paper myself, but it really does take that number and discount it only 2%. It was being discounted at 3.5% before. So as that rate goes down, that liability goes up. It's an inverse relationship. So depending on what the markets do, your discount rate is going to follow suit. Our markets have been pretty good. Our discount rates are low. We all knew where our rates were in 18 and 17. They were in a different place. We're 4 years later. So it really depends on the rates of those bonds and what they're using there. And that's going to directly affect what the rates that they're going to use in these actuarial valuations.
Hey, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? Okay, thank you very much. Now, next will be,
Do we need to make a motion to accept the statements?
do we have to approve? We have to approve it? I was thinking we have to approve it.
There is a resolution. It is 9.
Oh, okay.
Will come up in the 9-1s.
9-1.
9-1-3.
Later.
Are we voting to approve the report or to accept the report?
To accept it.
To accept it.
Right, because we're not in a position really to verify its accuracy. Right?
Right.
Yeah, accept it. Okay. All right, and now we will, next will be that we acknowledge receipt of the treasurer's report and the claims auditor report.
I'll just say good night, everybody. Enjoy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy holiday.
Thank
You
you.
too.
Thank you. Okay. And now we have any officers report? Mike? Or it's
Angelique.
Angelique around? I didn't see her. She's at
Yeah.
home?
I'm here.
Oh,
Good
okay.
Good
How are you?
evening. Thank
Some
you so
wonderful reports for us again.
I have 2 reports for you this evening. Good evening to the board. The first thing that I would like to report out on is a memo that was released by the State Education Department dated December 1st. And it has to do with recording and reporting attendance and hours of instruction for in-person and remote instruction for the 2021 year. We can all acknowledge that this year has been anything but normal for us. And because we have students that are learning in different modalities, we are required, according to this report, to record and report to the state student attendance, whether they are in person in our classrooms or they are remote learners at home. Student management systems have been working feverishly in order to build in the capacities so that way teachers are able to take accurate attendance in regards to where students are and whether or not they're present, whether they're in the building or they are at home. A new caveat to this is how do we account for asynchronous learning? How do we account for an equate time when children are actually in a remote environment, receiving live instruction from a teacher? They may be working on work independently, where that time now has to equate to a certain amount of attendance hours. So the state is looking to release some additional tools to districts later on this month to help them along with this endeavor, in addition to revising some of the SAMS reports in order to help districts apply for state aid. Again, while the state has provided a waiver for the minimum instructional hours of 900 and 990, the department still strongly encourages each district to try to get to that required instructional amount of time as best as possible. So there is more information to come out on this, but it is something we all have to keep an eye on because it is directly related to state aid. The second item that I would like to report out on is a memo that is dated December 3rd, which has to do with revising and amending our district safety plans. The governor has passed a law that will require all school districts to submit an addendum to their currently approved district safety plan. And what they are asking is for each district to adopt a continuation of operations plan in the event that a public health emergency is declared. So while we have all submitted reopening plans to the state education department and all districts and BOCES have accounted for how we will function in the world of remote instruction, the department would like and will have to comply with the governor's orders in regards to how we will go about managing this. So we will have to submit a very detailed plan about who is an essential, who's a non-essential worker, how will we approve employees to work virtually, and among a slew of other things. But essentially that each school district will have a plan in place for how we will function in case we're closed due to a health emergency. And that, if there are, I will be happy to take questions now because that completes the report of the district superintendent.
Safety plans. Anyone have any questions for Angelique? Speak now, forever hold your peace. Okay. The one with the safety plan will be specifically only for the COVID-19?
Well, the safety plan would be, it's for all public employers. So it's not just for school districts. So it's something that Cuomo is implementing across the board. There are still some things that possibly may be hammered out around this because there are some deadlines that have been put into the law, but because it's just coming out into print now, we're not sure if it will be changed. So our best advice is to plan to make sure that we have things in place that we will be able to submit in case we need to by the deadline.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Anybody
you.
else? No. Thank you, Angelique. Stay safe.
Thank you. Same to you. Happy holidays to everyone.
Yeah, you too. Bye-bye. Okay. The next, you're on, Mike.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Santos. The board tonight is being asked to pass a resolution authorizing Western Suffolk BOCES participation in a Suffolk County program referred to as the School Bus Stop Arm Enforcement Program. And essentially what the program does, the county provides through a contractor to have cameras installed on all school buses that would take the picture of any vehicle that would be passing a school bus that was stopped discharging a student or a student entering to the bus while flashes are on the bus being displayed and as that stop arm is extended out into the lane. And what happens is if a vehicle passes a school bus in that situation, the county is going to notify the registered driver of that vehicle, and they will be issued a summons. And the school system has no financial liability to support the program, nor do we receive funds from the program. The funds that are derived from the summonses go to support the cost of installing cameras on the school bus. It's virtually all the districts are supporting this initiative. It has to do with ensuring the safety of our students. And I would strongly recommend to the board to adopt that resolution this evening. The other item is under the Division of Instructional Support, which is administered by our district superintendent. Mrs. Johnson Dingle. We received a $58,000 state grant this week for the school library program. Western Suffolk BOCES does not use any of those funds. We administer that program and we share that $58,000 with the school libraries among our 18 component school districts. And we use that funds to try and regionalize and sharing services that all school libraries can use to make their dollars more efficient. The other note of interest, we have, the board is accepting 2 donations tonight. Everyone will recall Teresa Strum, our former executive director of special ed, established a memorial scholarship in the name of her brother, and is continuing to fund a $500 scholarship every year. And Susan Smith, our former public relations director, a scholarship fund in memory of her father, and is continuing to fund that this year. Also of importance, the United States Department of Agriculture approved the continuation of providing free lunch to all students, not for students who qualify financially, but for any child who needs to access the breakfast program in school or the lunch program in school. This is an initiative where the federal government said we will reimburse you for meals served to any student, and schools should not be collecting funds from any student for the entire school year. New York State adopted that provision, and where that adoption didn't occur until October of 2020. So for any students where we collected funds for the month of September, we're going to refund all that money to those families. So every student in a Western Suffolk BOCES program has been and will continue to receive free breakfast and free lunch during the current school year. We also have an interesting subject involving the newly mandated testing due to COVID-19 in all of our schools. The governor announced this initiative 3 weeks ago. The governor has established what are referred to as microcluster areas. There's 3 levels of designation: red, orange, and yellow. Each designation correlates to the rate of infection. Red is the highest rate of infection, orange the second rate, and yellow the third rate. And essentially, once a community and a school district within that community and the boundaries are identified by zip code, once you're identified as having a higher than normal rate, it's a 7-day rolling rate average in your community. Depending upon the level of that rate of infection, the local county health department, in our case will be Suffolk County Health Department, will contact the superintendent of that district and will notify that superintendent that they've been designated, their school system has been designated within one of those 3 designations of a microcluster. And depending upon which level of designation will require the school to undergo COVID-19 testing based on, for a yellow designation, 20% of the combination of staff and students that are attending school in person. And for the red designation and orange, it's 25%. And this is an initiative to try and keep the schools open. The information that the local health departments and the state health department have received in the last month or so is schools tend to be some of the safest areas in the state in terms of the infection rate. So once the testing is performed within the school district or the school, if the rate of infection among the students and the staff is lower than the rate of infection that was identified by the state and county health department, then in fact, the school can continue to operate and serve the students that need to attend school. So it is an initiative that requires a lot of work and effort on the part of school districts. The Suffolk County Department of Health has been an excellent partner. They've established a program where schools will be able to use the county health department's licensure to conduct this testing. And they've made resources available to school systems to help pilot the program and train school staff. Ultimately, it will be school staff that will be responsible for the implementation of the program. But everyone's working cooperatively, collaboratively, and try and keep the infection rates low. So it's a challenging task, but it's something that we have to do. It's something that is meant to keep staff and students safe. And we certainly will be looking forward to implementing that program in the future. So, Mrs. Santos, that concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, Warren, do you have any update on the capital projects for us?
Yes, well, you have the report that shows the individual projects and their current situation. I would just comment that this month, as of now, we have 19 projects for a total of about 4.3 million that are still in the design stage. Many of those are longer term projects that deal with some electrical work. We have 5 projects for about 5.5 million that are at state ed and facilities planning, waiting for their review and approval. We have 3 projects that are in the big quote process for about $400,000. We have 22 projects that represent about $2.8 million where the work is currently in progress. If you came in the building tonight, you might notice, and you probably wouldn't notice, that we're installing new gutters on the building, things of that sort. We're still doing some outside work. And we have, since last month, we have 8 projects for about $4 million that where the work is now substantially completed and we can file the final reports with the state. So things are moving along. There are many projects and the work continues.
Thank you very much. That's over. Okay, now we have items that we have to vote on. Is it okay if we do consent agenda for 9-1, from 9-1 to 9-1-6?
Does that include the bus camera one?
No, the bus camera one, it's at 9-3.8.
Okay.
Okay.
And yeah,
Okay.
So moved.
May I have a motion to accept agenda item 9-1-1 to 9-1-1 to 9-1-6.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 6-0. Okay. Now may I have a motion to accept agenda item 9-2.1 to 9-2.3.
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second. Any questions? All in favor?
aye,
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0. Now we have, this is the 9-3. Jim, do you want to hold the last one back?
yes, please.
Okay, so then let's move on 9-3.1 to 9-3.7.
Move.
Second.
Second,
Moved in second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0. Now, may I have a motion to accept agenda item 9.3.8
So moved.
Second.
and second? On a question?
yeah, I have a couple of questions. What is the point situation with tickets given out as a result of that? Is it like red light cameras where there are no points assigned?
There are no points, Jim.
Yeah, that troubles me somewhat. It does in all these things. Personally, I'm opposed to enforcement of law through video surveillance of the general population. I also don't believe the county has safety in mind in this in particular. They have money in mind in this in particular, just like red light cameras. So
Yeah,
I will be opposed to this motion.
okay. Anyone else? Any other comments? Okay, no, being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. That, is that, did I got 5 ayes?
I think so.
Opposed?
I'm opposed.
Opposed? 1 opposed. Okay, motion carry 5-1. 1 opposed, 5 yes. 5 yes, 1 no. Motion carried. Any old business? Anybody want to bring up any old business? Any new business? All right, then entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Hi, Marianne. Moved in second.
Second,
Okay, before we move, I just want to say happy holidays to everyone. And
yes.
please be safe, please.
Yeah.
Stay away from the stores. Don't go to the store. You can do it online. You can do it online, it's good. Okay. All in favor of adjournment?
Aye.
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 Opposed?
Merry Christmas to all.
Me, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to everybody and Happy Hanukkah.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Happy
Aye.
holidays.
Be well. Be well. Whatever you do, just be well.
Yes, that's the most important.
That's right. Thank you for everything. Good night.
Good night.
Night.